Hello, and welcome back to another edition of Nifty Notions. I'm Jason.
I'm Andrew, and Jason, today I'm going to be talking about the deadliest Australians.
So we're talking about Erin Patterson and mushroom killings, are we?
I wasn't, but now that you mention it, I'm going to be covering a whole bunch of different categories. So there's land, there's sea, there's weather, and there's humans. Okay, so
It's about everything.
Yeah, well, I'm going to only be talking about the mostest, which are probably the worstest. Let's start with water dangers, Jason.
Right.
So, sharks are always the first thing that visitors to Australia will usually cite as one of their biggest fears. And they're probably not too wrong about that, because we are in Sydney in Australia, and only 2 weeks ago there was a person who was attacked and fatally attacked by a shark off one of Sydney's beaches.
The force of the bite broke his board,
Some surfers brought the victim back to the beach.
but it was too late. His injuries were catastrophic.
And there was another one that happened about 4 years ago off another Sydney beach. It doesn't happen often, but it can happen. And the three sharks, there's three sharks in particular that are a problem. Great whites are the worst.
Yeah.
They are the biggest killer of people. They don't come into places like Sydney Harbour or into rivers. They go up and down the coast. Great white sharks like a lot of space, which is why, one interesting little fact, why you never find a great white shark in an aquarium.
Oh, okay.
You just don't.
Right.
Well, there's a couple of things that go on there. First of all, they're going to eat everything else in that space.
Is that right? They better be on
If
their
you ever
own.
go to aquariums, they always have sharks in with other fish.
Okay.
The sharks are well fed, but they're not going to feed off the other fish typically. So that's one of those things. But great whites need the space, and they'll go absolutely crazy, and they'll start headbutting the walls and the glass and
Okay.
everything else. So they like the ocean, and they do come close into the shoreline, knee deep. Like a big shark will go into very, very shallow water to find a
incredible, isn't
seal or something else that's there. So that's a danger. Inside places like Sydney Harbour, bull sharks.
Bull sharks.
Bull sharks are nasty little creatures, nasty big creatures. Not as big as they're nowhere near the size of a great white.
Yeah.
But the thing that makes bull sharks particularly dangerous is they can survive in fresh water.
Right.
They can transition from salty to fresh without a problem.
Right.
So in Sydney Harbour, which has got a whole lot of rivulets and freshwater streams at further inland, you can find bull sharks, and they've been tagged and monitored all the way up and down. And there was a case, a Navy clearance specialist, Paul de Gelder, was attacked right in the middle of Sydney Harbour, almost in front of the Opera House when he was doing a Navy exercise, and he lost an arm and a leg. Still alive.
Wow.
This happened probably about 10 years ago, I think.
Wow.
So it can happen, and there was a fatality in the Lane Cove River, right up the beginning part of Lane Cove River, which is fresh water.
Good grief.
This is in the early 1900s, I believe. And
Yeah.
if you are in Sydney, I'm showing that on the map, just how far up this river it was. And there are signs all the way up there to this day that say, do not swim here for fear of shark attack.
Wow.
So I hope I'm not overstating it. I'm stating there is a risk. I'm not stating it's a major risk. So there have been fatalities within Sydney Harbour before. And the other sharks to worry about are tiger sharks, which are really big sharks and very aggressive.
Yeah.
But a shark's a shark, let's face it. And we do have plenty of those. So
I remember in Tasmania, I went swimming with my son over Christmas,
Mm-hmm.
and the next day at the same beach we were at, a young girl was killed by a shark.
ooh, yeah.
So they're around.
That's
So
right.
even if we don't get attacked,
Yeah.
they are hovering around.
And
right?
that's cold water down there as well.
It is cold water, yeah,
They
absolutely.
you get some really big sharks in the cold
Yeah.
water. And sharks are all around Australia, all around the periphery of Australia. Takes me to the next aquatic killer, saltwater crocodiles.
Yeah.
Now, these are the biggest crocodiles in the world, and they're the most aggressive, and they're very, very active. They are very active, and Jason's laughing because of the video we're about to show right now.
Come on, Daniel. Still there. It's still there.
Oh, yep.
You just got to get it. Oh, come on. Just keep the pressure on.
Yep.
When you get it up, you just got to run. Yes. Yes, Daniel. Quick. Quick, bro. The big on it. Oh, Daniel. Run, bro. Run back, bro. Run back, bro. Run back, bro. Run back. Oh, run, bro. Run, 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 run. Run, Daniel. Run. Run. Run, Daniel. Run. Run, bro. Oh, no, he's got it. Pressure on. Keep the pressure. No. No, it's so big. It's so big. He's swallowing it.
Oh, the whole thing.
Oh, the whole thing's gone down his gob.
Wow.
Daniel, that was a beast of a fish.
Like a 90.
What video?
That's the only way I could lead into it, Jason, losing it. And Jason's still laughing because that was a boost of a beast, as you saw. And those two guys were fishing in the Northern Territory in Australia. It's right in the northern part in the tropics. And you can see that's not the ocean. That is a swampy area. So you do get saltwater crocodiles coming inland a little bit, but you also have freshwater crocodiles which go inland even more. So you can find them in billabongs and in creeks and all sorts of things. So that's in the northern tropical part of Australia. You won't find crocodiles in Sydney, you won't find them in Melbourne, you won't find them in Perth, in Adelaide, or anywhere in Tasmania, or in Brisbane, which is near the tropics. It's in the state of Queensland, but a few hundred kilometres north of Brisbane, you can see a crocodile too. And then all the way up the north, they are really bad. And actually, I'm going to show a nice clip now. If in America you have the footage of bears waiting on the edge to snap salmon, here's a crocodile chasing a barramundi on a water crossing.
Do you think those blokes are still fishing up in Queensland?
I thought the question was going to be, do you think those blokes are still alive? Look, there's plenty of videos on YouTube about young blokes fishing for barramundi. And barramundi, as you can see, are big fish, and they're one of Australia's preferred fish for eating. So a lot of people do fish for barramundi, and it's up in the territory or in the parts of Australia where crocodiles exist. So yeah, there's always the danger. And you do hear of crocodile attacks and fatal crocodile attacks, so it happens.
We have deterrents here like Steve Irwin when he was around. The crocodile hunter.
Yep. Enough said. Okay, moving into the water, stonefish. These are an ugly little creature. They look like a stone, and if you were to step on one, they've got all these spines at the top and they're covered by little sheaths, and they just spurt venom into you, and it is really, 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 really painful. And can be fatal. They are fatal. So not good. You don't want to be treading on anything that looks like a rock in the waters. And again, these are a tropical water fish.
Are we going to talk about our sponsor today, Tourism Australia? And they're going to promote our video to people coming in?
I think we're going to transfer right now to Lara Bingle.
Hello everybody, how are you?
That was a bad time.
That was it, yeah.
Anyway, moving right along. Box jellyfish and irukandji. Again, more likely to be in the tropics than places like Sydney.
Yeah.
But box jellyfish, they're little tiny things, but they'll kill you. And they'll kill you very quickly. And the way they work is in each one of those little fine tentacles, there's thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of little barbs.
Yeah.
And that's why you sometimes see those, when people have been in contact with a jellyfish, and the jellyfish is no longer attached to them, but they might have these spaghetti-like stingers, and that's basically where their tentacles have attached, and those little barbs have automatically fired venom into you, and that's what they use to pull in their prey as well. So, bad news. We do get blue bottles or man of war in places like Sydney.
I've seen those.
Yeah. And they're stingers as well. They won't kill you unless you have an anaphylactic reaction to it. But irukandji, and box jellyfish are potentially fatal, especially box jellyfish. Oftentimes, there have been reports of people going swimming and then just being lost. And sometimes the theory is they might have come across a box jellyfish which has killed them, and they've just floated out to sea or sunk or been taken by other predators in the ocean. So that's that's within the realms of possibility and highly likely. Yeah. So moving right along, blue-ringed octopus.
Oh no!
Now these dudes are in Sydney Harbour.
One of the most venomous creatures in the world, the blue-ringed octopus can be found in shallow coastal waters all over Australia, and there is no anti-venom. Wading through the water at Balmoral Beach earlier this month, Jean-Paul took a swim that almost killed him.
Picked up a shell, as I always do, to sort of collect for my daughter, put it into my hand, looked down, and there's basically a blue-ringed octopus.
Instantly recognising the glowing rings, he knew he'd been bitten.
Decided to Google blue-ringed octopus sting symptoms and everything like that. And because I didn't feel the sting, I didn't think much of it.
But that would soon change.
Then about 20 minutes later, my thumb started going a bit numb.
Within an hour, JP was in intensive care, his entire body paralysed. Eventually losing the ability to breathe, JP was intubated and placed into an induced coma. Jean-Paul is lucky to be alive, waking up 20 hours later with his children by his side. After 2 weeks of recovery, including a second paralytic episode, he now has a new lease on life.
I can remember, because I used to kayak in Sydney Harbour, it's almost like white water out there on a weekend with the ferries and the speedboats, and it's quite dangerous because most people are drunk when they're riding the boats, even though they're not allowed to be, and they don't see you. Anyway, that's a whole other story. I can remember I was walking down a boat ramp with my kayak, and there was this little white octopus just sunning itself on the boat ramp near the edge of the water. And I thought it was dead, and I got my paddle and I just touched the end of it. And instantly it jumped up, and it was white one moment and blue rings the next. Yeah. And like you go, whoa, I could have almost trod on that thing. Now the thing about blue-ringed octopuses, they're really small, and there are a lot of people on YouTube, usually visitors to Australia, who think, aren't these cute? And they put them on their hand, you see them walking over. There've been a number of people who've been bitten by their little beaks, they inject venom, and it's a painless bite.
Yeah.
And half an hour later, you're in a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
So
it's terrible.
Don't touch any live octopuses if you're a visitor to Australia. I'm making this sound really bad. I've got to really put this in perspective.
Yeah.
I'm 60 years old. I've lived in Sydney for 58 years, and I lived for 2 years of my life as a child. I was born here in Europe, but 58 years of my life here, I've only seen one blue-ringed octopus in my life. I've never seen a shark. Never come in contact with any of these other things. So, we put that in perspective. Plenty of people go to the beach all the time. Not such a problem.
But you used to go kayaking with your 6 brothers, right? How many of you are left?
Just me.
Yeah. Congratulations. You're the statistic.
Okay, now we're talking about something that Jason got caught up in, and that's called a rip.
Yeah.
Incorrectly called a riptide, but a rip is where on any stretch of beach, the water has to return. The waves come in and that water has to go back, and usually it finds, the water will travel across the beach and there'll be one spot where it'll down.
Yeah.
And that's where we find a lot of visitors to Australia who, first time they come here, will go, oh, everyone's over there swimming.
Over there.
So, and over here it looks really calm compared to over there. I'm going to go swimming here. So one of the little tricks is the rips usually look really calm because the incoming waves are not in that area. And we have a thing in Australia at the beaches that are patrolled by surf lifesavers, where they'll establish flags, and they always say swim between the flags. And the reason they're saying that is because there's no rip in between the flags, and they will up and move these flags as the rips change, because the rips are constantly changing. So
and it's attended by lifeguards between the flags, whereas the rest of the beach isn't.
Unpatrolled, exactly. Yeah. And look, across any stretch of beach, you could have 2, 3, 4, multiple rips.
Yeah.
So it's not just one; it could be a whole lot of them. But if they are a patrolled beach, swim between the flags, and play between the flags as well, because there are some foreign visitors whose English isn't so good, and they might use Google Translate or something, and they think, oh, I can only swim there, but I'll play in the water here.
Yeah.
Well, a rip is going to take little kids and inexperienced swimmers, and then a little kid gets swept out, parent goes after them, and we have too many terrible stories that happen from
awful,
that.
isn't it?
And
it doesn't look like anything's happening in the water,
That's right.
does it? There's no sign
right.
that's where a rip is.
That's right.
It's just placid water. Nothing's going on.
Do you know someone who was ever caught in a rip?
Yes, I do.
Excellent.
Thank you, Andrew. That was me 2 years ago. I was swimming, and I was swimming between the flags, and the rip had moved onto where the flags were. So I was being watched by a lifeguard, and I didn't realise it because it doesn't drag you out. You just keep going out and not realising it. So I'm playing in the water, and I'm just being moved out, and I'm being moved out. And I'm thinking, hey, hang on a sec. I'm way from the beach. And the lifeguard's waving at me going, do you want us to come? And I'm thinking, no, I'll just swim sideways. And then the surfer comes up to me and says, you're in a rip, mate. I go, I know. He goes, the problem is you can't swim sideways, which is what you're meant to do, because the rip's moving sideways. So he said, grab my surfboard, hang on to it, we'll get someone out, but it's just too hard right now. And it was frightening because you don't feel it, you don't see it coming, and then you're out. You know, I was like about 150 meters or, 250 yards away from the beach. And eventually I'll come back, right? I'm not going to panic and stuff. But it really does shock you how far you're out within a couple of minutes.
And for inexperienced swimmers, that could be fatal.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially if they panic and they do the wrong thing and then now they're tired.
Or if they can't swim. That's the other thing. If they're paddling in the calm-looking shallow water, and all of a sudden they slip and they're gone.
Yeah.
That's bad. That can happen. Okay, let's move on to animals and general hazards. Well, crocodiles, we've already covered the crocodiles. I don't think I'm going to go over them again, but, we have freshwater and saltwater all in the tropics.
Yeah.
And don't be fooled by billabongs and creeks inland a bit, because freshwater crocs can be there. Okay, deadliest bird in the world. Do you know what it's called?
No.
This is the deadliest bird in the world for humans. The southern cassowary.
Really?
Yeah.
I never heard of it.
Okay, it's a big bird. Emus are the biggest bird we have in Australia, the flightless bird. Cassowary is also a flightless bird. These are also found in the tropics. So if you want to avoid the danger part of Australia, stay away from the tropics.
That's right.
But these are a big bird that can jump actually quite high. I believe they can jump up to 2 metres. And so if you get in between a cassowary and its chicks, you potentially could be in danger, because cassowaries will attack you. They can headbutt you with that big thing they've got on top of their head, that big piece of bone that protrudes on the top of their head. But more likely, when they're close to you, they will jump up, and with the talons that they have in their claws, they can disembowel you.
God.
Seriously, they are potentially very dangerous. And there was a guy in Texas, in America, who was killed a few years ago because he had a pet cassowary, and he upset his cassowary, and his cassowary did him.
No.
Exactly that way.
Wow.
So they are regarded as the deadliest, for humans, the deadliest bird in the world.
These birds are big and they're mean. Razor-sharp claws and a vicious kick that can pack a massive punch. Seemingly part raptor, part bird. One of them killing a Central Florida man.
The cassowary is called the world's most dangerous bird.
That's on the show America's Got Talent.
Oh dear. Oh dear. All right, moving on from the birds, we're going to snakes. Now, Australia is so well known for deadly snakes because we have the deadliest. So the inland taipan is the absolute most venomous snake in the world, bar none. And the good news is there haven't been any recorded fatalities from the inland taipan, because the inland taipan lives inland in Australia, and most of Australian inland is uninhabitable.
Yeah.
Or maybe anyone who's tried to move out there has been killed by an inland
and we
taipan.
never found out.
We never found out. Maybe that's a possibility. Or we could have just made that up. So the inland taipan's the deadliest snake in the world. But the deadliest snake in Australia, the one that kills the most people, is the eastern brown, which happens to be the second deadliest snake in Australia.
Yeah.
It's a little bit down in the deadliest in the world, but it's near the top.
Still fatal.
It's a nasty one. Kill you in 15 to 30 minutes if you get a bad enough dose. There is anti-venom available for all these snakes. And eastern browns are found on the eastern seaboard of Australia, which includes Sydney. And suburban Sydney. So if you are a visitor and you're messing around in the parklands in particular, or even in some of the leafier suburbs, you can find some snakes. The trick is, don't mess with snakes. You see them, just go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Leave them alone. That's the easiest thing. So we don't have too many fatalities, but if we're going to have fatalities, it's going to be with eastern browns typically.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's bad. Going further north, we've also got the coastal taipan, which is up there with the eastern brown for toxicity. So it's a nasty snake, and it's particularly aggressive. Actually, eastern browns and the taipans are very aggressive snakes. Not the inland taipan, but the coastal taipan is. And the other one that is along the eastern seaboard and in the southern part of Australia is tiger snakes,
right, which
have the stripes on them. They are a pretty aggressive snake, and they are found in a lot of places, suburbs and whatever as well. So again, look, snakes are as scared of you as you are of them if you come across them. And I have seen quite a few snakes in my time in Australia, but I've never been bitten by one, which is good. But typically, you see a snake, you just go the other way. They'll do their thing, you do your thing, everyone's happy. So if you go and try and prod them or poke them, you might come off second best because they're equipped with defences. Yeah. Spiders. All right. Sydney funnel web.
Oh, God.
We are in Sydney. The Sydney funnel web, I'm sure most people have heard of the Sydney funnel web. It is a spider that has arguably either the first or second most venomous spider in the world. Whichever, it doesn't matter. I'm happy for it to be the second. The most deadly, I believe, is the Brazilian wandering spider, but that's in the Amazon. Not many people even come in contact with that, so it's not really an issue. The Sydney funnel web has been responsible for fatalities, but since the early 1980s, there has been an anti-venom for it, so there haven't been any fatalities since then. But it's a nasty, aggressive spider that if it's backed into a corner, it will rear up and expose those big fangs that it has, and it'll give you a really bad bite, and it's not scared to do it. And as a matter of fact, when I was writing up my notes for this in the last few weeks, I was going to come here and say, by the way, I have never ever in my 60 years of life and 58 years of living in Sydney, ever seen a funnel web in real life, other than in like a zoo or a captive environment. Until last Saturday when we were cleaning our backyard, because we live in the northern part of Sydney, which is supposed the northern Sydney funnel web is probably the most toxic of all of these. And I actually saw one when we were cleaning up our backyard. So I have seen one now. And it ran the other way. It saw me and it went the other way. So they'll do that unless they're cornered. I mean, all these things, they just don't want to be part of you. They don't want any. They know you're big. They know you could hurt them. So
the only anti-venom Sydney ambulances carry is for the funnel web, because they reckon they can't get you to hospital fast enough to save you. So they'll administer it as soon as they see you.
Yeah. Now the other one is redback spiders. These are everywhere. I mean, you can see redbacks all over the place, and they're like the next most toxic, and they can kill. And they're really tiny spiders too. And I do advise anyone who comes to Australia for the first time that I know of, like friends, relatives, and whatever, is if you're in a park and you want to sit down on a park bench, before you do that, have a look under the seat, because the redbacks have a particular a particular web, and they like to establish a web about this far off the ground from a post, a tree, or under a seat. And they have a really sticky web that goes in. It looks like a very disjointed web. It's not an orb web. It's strange little things. And the idea is all those little bits of web are under tension. And when a crawling insect like a cockroach or another spider trips one of those webs, they're highly sticky. It breaks the webs and it flies. It breaks that strand and it flings that insect, or even a lizard for that matter, into a stickier part of the web. And the redback comes down and does its thing. So that's how they work. So they could be underneath a seat that you're sitting on. And there's often the whole thing about, redback under the dunny seat. Dunny is a toilet in Australia. Redback under the toilet seat. And if you're in the country, and I don't mean the country of Australia, but we call the country as in
Yeah.
not the city. If you're, or even in a parkland, actually within a city, if you are using a convenience, it's probably not a bad idea to just lift the toilet seat up and just check, because that's actually the right height for them to put a web down to the ground.
Okay.
So just a little bit of a warning there for would-be visitors. Moving right along, dingoes. Dingoes.
A dingo ate my baby.
The dingo ate your baby.
Thank you, Elaine. Dingoes can be aggressive. They're known to have taken at least one human, which was a baby, Zaria Chamberlain from the base of Ayers Rock, which is Uluru, and Fraser Island, which is Kagari these days. There's a lot of dingoes there. Some have had to be put down because they're so aggressive towards humans.
They will learn, you know, all right, that last camp didn't deter me off.
That's led to a spike in attacks. In one of the most recent, a young jogger was mauled by a pack of dingoes that corralled her into the water.
They're not really known for fatalities, but they're known to attack. So
Yeah.
they're that's dingoes for you. Oh, this is one that's really important for visitors to Australia, the legendary drop bears.
Oh, the drop bears.
Yeah. Now, drop bears look just like koalas, and for our American visitors in particular, it's not a koala bear. Koalas are not bears, they're marsupials. A drop bear, on the other hand, looks just like a koala, but it's a bear. Okay, the only bear in Australia.
Watch this and see if you can spot the differences. This is your everyday cute, cuddly koala. And this is a vicious, brooding drop bear. Take note of its razor-sharp claws, unnerving stare, and scarred forehead from countless attacks. The person filming is lucky that this gliding grump's locked up.
The thing about drop bears is they don't tend to attack Australians, and there's a good reason for that. We tend to eat a lot of Vegemite. Australia, you eat it, I eat it, everyone eats Vegemite. And there's something about the Australian accent and eating Vegemite that repels drop bears. But if you're a foreigner, you don't have an Australian accent and you don't eat Vegemite, so that you don't have that natural smell.
Yeah, protection.
Exactly, natural
it's
protection.
It's like sunscreen, isn't it, that
It
people
is.
put on.
It absolutely is.
Yeah.
So it's like bear spray in America, except it's oozing out of your pores. So if you're walking in the bush, and we call the outback the bush, anything that's not in Sydney with a lot of trees is the bush, you've got to be careful. You might look up and say, oh, there's a koala. Or if you're American, you might say koala bear, which will upset the koalas. And by the way, the only time that the words koala and bear should appear together in the same sentence is, actually in a question, is how much can a koala bear?
No.
That's it. You can't use it any other way. They're not bears, right? So anyway, if you're walking in the bush, you might look up and go, oh, there's a koala asleep. And you go, oh, that's really nice. Now, if you're an Australian, we're always talking. They can hear our voice, they can smell. But you'll be talking your American accent, your English accent, or any other accent, not oozing that Vegemite smell. As you walk past, they're going to jump down on top of you, and they're going to go "Arr," like that into your neck. They do that. So you've got to be really careful with drop bears. They've been known to be fatal. And of course, as a foreigner to our country, the best protection you can do is to actually buy a whole lot of Vegemite and rub it all over your body before you venture out into the bush. And it's probably advisable to also utter the words, "G'day, mate. G'day, mate." I've got a lot more to talk about drop bears, so I'm going to keep that for right at the end. So if you are a visitor to our shores, make sure you stick right to the end, because right at the end I'm going to give you some very, very important information about drop bears.
So if a UK traveller has Marmite, that they use Marmite a lot, does that protect them?
It's only marginal protection. It's very similar, but it doesn't have the actual ingredients that Vegemite has. So
it might have a bit of yeast, but not everything.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
But if you do have a more of a Cockney accent rather than a received pronunciation,
right? Okay.
Like
so you
an
pronounce
RP
the
accent.
H's and things.
Yes. If you've got more of a Cockney accent, which is sort of closer to an Australian accent, you've got half a chance. If you come here with a posh RP accent, you're drop bear fodder.
That's interesting, isn't it? I didn't realise that.
Yeah. It's so if any of the royals come, they always go with armed guards into the.
That's right. And send the armed guards first.
They do.
Yeah,
that's right. Yep.
Oh, Camilla, look, I hear we're going to hear some drop bear, some droppings, some royal number 2s. I'm sorry. Oh, look, there we are. Here it is. I love it. Oh, my God, I love it. Where did it come from? It must have come from the sky. Oh, dropping down from heaven.
Right, moving on. Weather, sun and ultraviolet protection.
Yes.
It's sunny here. It's hot here most of the year. You need some protection.
And we're bald. So we have even more
hats,
problems.
sunglasses. You need to protect your eyes. You need to protect your bodies. Don't mess around with it. You will look like a red lobster if you go out in the sun for 15 minutes without any protection. So there's that.
A lot of my visitors from Northern Hemisphere, they come and go, oh, we're only going to be out for 20 minutes. I go, it just takes less than 10 to get burnt, and then you're in trouble.
Yep. Okay, cyclones. Summer season, you call them hurricanes in America, typhoons in Asia. They're a thing in summertime. If you hear of a cyclone, get the hell out of there. Floods and bushfires, we get them everywhere. Bushfires more in the south because in the north it's too humid for bushfires to take hold, but in the south in Sydney we do get lots of those, and we get floods everywhere. So again, we're like any other place. And Australia can get cold. We do get snow. We have snowfields. It surprises a whole lot of people, but we do get snow, and we do have people who die in the snowfields from exposure because they've gone trekking and they haven't done the right thing, or your typical skiers who fall over and hit rocks with their heads. So there's that. Human dangers. Humans are the biggest killers in Australia of animals and of,
other humans.
Vegetation and other humans. Our mass murder and serial killers, we don't really have them. Our homicide rate in Australia is 1 per 100,000, which is far below the US, which is 5 per 100,000. And urban accidents, car crashes, domestic things, we have all that. But here's an interesting fact, Jason. When it comes to humans, you're far more likely to be injured in a car in Sydney than a crocodile.
Okay.
Because crocodiles don't come to Sydney, so that kind of...
And they're not driving.
No. Oh, one other one is kangaroos. So
the roos.
Kangaroos... roadkill. There's a lot of kangaroo roadkill. If you drive out in the country, there's a lot of kangaroo roadkill. But likewise, there's also a lot of fatalities, human fatalities, from hitting a kangaroo, because these things can be big, and they can roll a car. You could push a car in. If a kangaroo goes under a car, it's not steering anymore, and you could go off into a tree or into another vehicle or whatever. Or kangaroos do jump, and I have a photo I'm going to show you right now. If you're squeamish, look away. It's a kangaroo lying dead in the back seat of a car that's come through the window of the car. Fortunately for the driver, it went through the passenger side and the driver was by himself, but he took out the windscreen and ended up in the back seat dead from the impact. So kangaroos are a problem. So that's that. Jason, I think I'm at the end of my talk, except for the very important thing about drop bears that I was going to tell everyone.
Okay, but before you do that, you've really cheered everyone up with your analysis from Australia.
I'm just telling them what they know.
What are you going to say to people who are thinking about coming and just seen this video? What would you say to them?
Yeah, come and spend your money. It's really cool. I mean, look, I'm still alive after 60 years, and so is Jason. So, hey, there's a lot more of us like this too. So it's pretty good. You'll work it out.
Yeah.
One important thing, drop bears. They're not real. That's it.
Okay.
I'm done. Good. I'm done.
Thank you for that, and congratulations on your new appointment to the Board of Tourism Australia. I'm sure that's going to go well.
Cool.
And that's it for this episode of Nifty Notions. I hope you enjoyed that. If you like what you've seen, please feel free to subscribe and like this. Send us a comment on what you think you've heard or other deadly things. I'm Jason.
I'm Andrew. We'll catch you next time.